I'm still grappling with the fact that I have entered the historical record. The past couple of weeks have been insane. That's literally the word that just keeps popping up in my head. I don't think I always knew I was going to be the inaugural poet, but every single time I wrote a public poem, before I began writing it, I would tell myself, write a poem that is worthy of a presidential inauguration. I wanted to hold myself to a high standard that everything that I wrote had to be worthy of hope. It had to be worthy of a future. Because it's really easy to write a poem that makes people feel really bad about themselves and their country and their people and their culture and their race. The real kind of demand and hill we climb, I think, as poets, is to observe that darkness, to listen to it, but also to lead people out of the shade.
We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all.
I think it's really easy to see someone, especially when they're young, have a kind of electric moment like this and say, oh, that was instantaneous. Oh, that was so easy. But there was so much labor that was put into that moment, not just for me, but the people who raised me, my ancestors, my family, my community. They have really shepherded me to this moment and encouraged me to live every moment as if I'm making history, because they believed that I would. My dream to become president really started, I want to say, in like 6th grade. You have to be really conscious about the image that you're putting out into the world. Not necessarily that you have to be inauthentic, but you are part of a generation where every single thing you do is going to be documented. So I remember countless times hanging with friends and them taking a selfie and me just not being in it, or me removing myself from the situation because I was like, guys, I'm running for president in 30 years. Gotta be careful about what images of me are out there. As a Black woman, fashion is always pivotal for me in my self-expression. There's something that we call kind of the politics of respectability in the African American community, which is to say, we are always held to such high standards that even basic things such as our hair, or makeup, or clothes have a political importance. Even thinking back to the Civil Rights Movement, what it meant to march in your Sunday best. So I kind of like to walk forward in that tradition and also redefine it. I like to imagine a type of grace and elegance and regality that actually speaks to the African diaspora. So I made the very intentional choice, for example, to wear my hair natural at the inauguration, to wear my hair in my braids today, to say there is a way to be beautiful and regal and gracious and Black at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. If anything, they're mutually inclusive. We're in such an exciting time, I think, when it comes to Black art. When I first began writing, all the stories I wrote were about girls with green eyes and red hair. And it wasn't that, I was against stories that featured skin colors like mine. I just didn't know those existed. I didn't know that was something that I could actually write. And it wasn't until I want to say entered middle school and I was able to stumble across The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison with, a girl that looked like me on the cover. It just metamorphosized my thinking. My Blackness wasn't something to hide, it was something to celebrate.